Hi there, it's Sharon Waxman, the editor of TheWrap, coming to you from TheWrap's studio at the Sundance Film Festival 2020. It's an honor to speak to the subjects and the directors of a film that's made a lot of noise already called On the Record. It's already premiered at the festival and had a standing ovation, I believe, at its first screening. So now to the question of how you have felt to the response, because I'm sure it was very painful for you to learn that Oprah did not want to be associated with the film.
Well, at first it was overwhelming, hurtful. It was like living that virus just started back all over again in your system, and you just like, you doing this again, like this is just happening again, and you just feeling silenced again. But with the documentary last night, as I seen it for the first time, because I chose to see it for the first time, and I was just overwhelmed with joy, tears. I didn't know to cry. It just was, wow, this is so fabulous that it's a forum now where we are not silenced and we will be heard, and we are important to be heard. And it was just amazing, the response we got. And I'm still feeling like, it's just a feeling, I don't know if you understand, but being silenced and having that virus for so long and carrying it, and for now being able to release it.
Drew? We have interviewed you before about your experiences with Russell Simmons and TheWrap. Talk a bit about sort of the response that you felt in the screening and kind of the turmoil. I mean that preceded that screening.
Right. So I broke my silence in the New York Times 2 years ago. So we're all sort of 2 years to a year and a half kind of into this journey. Your story came out after lots of false starts and pushback in a Hollywood Reporter, I think 6 months after mine. Yours came out in the LA Times the same day as the story I was in. So, and I began working with Amy and Kirby on the film even before I decided to go on the record. And so I feel like I've kind of been on the operating table for 2 years with this wound that I couldn't close because the film sort of kept me in that space. And I believed it was worth it because I thought it was important for us not to just tell our stories individually, but to come together as sisters, really, and tell our stories collectively and to center Black women, which is what this film does. But it's been painful. It's postponed my ability to heal, to move past it. Many things in my life have been on hold. And so I have been looking forward to whatever the finish line was, and it sort of felt like once I knew the film was accepted into Sundance, that felt like a finish line finally, and I couldn't wait to cross it so I could just exhale and the doctor could sew up the patient and I could leave the hospital and go home. And so the feeling that sort of the hospital was suddenly on fire all around me 15 days before I thought I was going to leave the operating room is its own trauma. And so the premiere last night, feeling like we were safe, the film was safe, our stories were safe, and this conversation would continue, and that it was well received in the room, was a relief that I can't even really put into words.
The reason why I'm pausing right now is because there's been so much discussion about Oprah for the last several weeks, and similar to what Drew said about how this film isn't about Russell, it's about survivors. What transpired with Oprah, look, it's her prerogative to make her choice. Was I disappointed? Yes. Was I shocked? No. Given the pushback in the Black community on the heels of leaving Neverland, it did not come as a surprise. But in speaking about Oprah, I feel that it takes away from the importance of this film, of the fact that we are sitting here today with the privilege and honor of talking to you, because what's transpired, and we have to go back to, when the film was announced at Sundance, and when word got out, when people put two and two together and realized that it was about centering on Drew and also about Russell and the tremendous pushback, that was extremely traumatic. Having hit pieces written about me that I believe were initiated by Russell was very traumatic. But this is the price that you pay for speaking up. And I'm just grateful that I'm here. I'm grateful that we have had our stories told by such talented filmmakers, that they persevered, that Sundance persevered, that Impact persevered, and in respect to what happened at the premiere, it was transcendent. Mm-hmm. I did not know what to expect. It was very emotional. Mm-hmm. I cried. But I believe that the film does justice to the issue of the suppression of Black women's voices around sexual violence and our experiences, and how we have been marginalized and erased from Me Too. Mm-hmm. And I'm very grateful to be here because it is a privilege.